Well, back at Adams Park, I'm joined by Exeter head coach Rob Baxter, and Rob, let's turn to one of the key incidents of that second half. First of all, the try or no try for Henry Slade.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't see with enough quality footage yet whether it's a try or not. I mean, from where I'm standing, it looks like he slides in, and I don't know if anything's underneath it. I don't know. Obviously, the TMO must have a clearer view than any footage I've seen. So, like I say, I'm not going to say anything about this without seeing the footage the TMO's looked at. But yeah, again, we don't seem to come up with many TMO calls. I mean, maybe it's just one of those things. This season we'll get none, and maybe in a really important season we'll get them all. So let's wait and see what happens.
He only seemed to look at the correct camera angle once, didn't he? The other ones weren't any use to us.
Well, from what we saw on the big screen, it didn't look like he spent a lot of time looking at the initial grounding, which to me was the key of the whole thing. So, as I say, I can't say too much because I don't know what his thoughts were. I don't know what was said in the instructions by whether the referee or not. So, as I said, it's just once they happen. You've got to get on with it. We still got back to level of the game, and then and fair enough. We didn't play well enough to make another pressure moment that would have won us a penalty, and maybe us having the pot of the drop goal or us taking a penalty shot. So fair play to Wasps. We kind of got them with a little bit of a sucker punch try very early on. We got good control of the game in the first half. But listen, we were 12-3 up at the start of the second half, and we looked like a team that was 12-3 down. We looked like the nervous team, and they came out and came after us, and we made some poor decisions and did some poor things, and they clawed their way back into the game, and fair play to them. And then it almost took them getting back in the lead for us to start playing well, and that's it's a little bit of a shame. We had a bit of a lack of discipline really at key times that took the pressure off them, and that's what today was. Today was a pressure game of rugby, and I think in the end, that fair play to us. I think they dealt with some of the pressure a little bit better than we did.
The elements did play a part in that second half, didn't they? The wind and the rain really picked up.
Yeah, the wind did pick up, but at the end of the day, it was tough for everybody. And did we play really good territory and really good pressure? And did we really look after the ball as well as we could have done? Probably not. But it is one of those things. I mean, as I say, bigger picture. We've come away from home to a Wasps side who are noticeably improved on the side they've been the last couple of years. We've come up with the last play of the game for the losing bonus points. So as I say, you've always got to keep ticking the points going over, and that's what we've got to do. We've got to be frustrated by today. But I've just said to the players, we've kind of got to get back to being excited about our one next game of rugby. And I think what we have to learn to do as a side is, when we're in the top half or competing for the top four, is still get excited about the next game, instead of almost the next game is going to take something away from us. The next game gives you something. It gives you the possibility of something. And I think that a little bit of that happened today. We looked at times like a side that was a bit desperate for the game not to slip away from us, instead of getting after it, making good solid decisions that would have won us the game. So it's far from the end of the world for us. We've got a great run of fixtures now in the Premiership into the end of the season. We only have 4 away games left. Everything else is at home, and we finished with an exciting run of fixtures. Particularly for us, if the ground's firm up a bit, and we can really get back to what we like doing, which is running and playing multi-phase rugby. So, I'm not too downhearted. Henry Slade's had an 80 minutes performance away from home. In probably the game couldn't have had bigger pressure on it in a lot of ways, the way the scores went. So that would be fantastic for him. And like I said, big parts of our game were good. I thought defensively, a lot of the time we put Wasps under a lot of pressure. Unfortunately, we tended to back it up with a little bit of ill discipline occasionally, and we did have a couple of missed tackles that did end up hurting us. But as you say, it's a tough one to take on the chin when the game slips away with you the last play. But I do think you've got to be honest, and you've got to look at yourself, and you've got to look to be a better team so that it never comes down to one moment.
You slipped to 8th in the table. It's still very tight, but you've got the Premiership's top 3 as your next 3 games when we resume the league fixtures in February.
Oh, yeah, we've got 2 of them at home, though.
Yes.
I mean, realistically, if we were going to be challenging in towards the right end of the table, yes, we would have wanted to win today. But you're still going to probably have to win a couple of those games. So that side of it's not really changed yet. We've just got to be very, very competitive in our next group of games in the Heineken and in the Amlin. Make sure we come through it, I say, in the right frame of mind rugby-wise, and like I say, excited and enjoying our rugby. And that's when we play very well. And I'm sure that's what will happen over the next 3 or 4 weeks. I think we've had quite a group of fixtures that have been physically and mentally very testing. and I think you improve because of that. But sometimes you do draw breath a little bit, and sometimes I do wonder whether we've had a couple of performances where we've just drawn breath a little bit. But what happens when you've drawn breath and you've recovered from it? You tend to push on, and that's what we'll look to do now. We'll look to push on through the next 4 games, and we'll look to be really flying when it comes through back to the Premiership.
Like a bad injury to Riley Tui out there in the first half.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, obviously it's bad enough for him to need the stretcher, but the severity of the injury is going to be relatively hard for us to assess until we get some proper scans and stuff done. I mean, it seems to be a neck injury, but as I said, we hope it's not too serious. But as I say, we'll wait for him to have a full assessment.
If it is bad, with Brett Sturgis out injured as well, are you going to have to look to go and perhaps get another prop in?
I mean, I'm not thinking that too quickly. I mean, at this stage, Alex Brown's come in. We've got Lloyd Fairbrother playing every week in the Championship down at Plymouth. Obviously, we've got Ben Moon. We've got Carl Rimmer, who was here on the bench today. We've got other options. We've got Kieran playing down at Cornish Pirates. So we have Luke Cowan-Dickey, he can play loose head as well as prop. We have got some options. We've got Greg Bateman. Hasn't played much of hooker yet. So we've got quite still got a fit front row. And my feeling on these things is we tend to try and push through with guys we've got and bring them through, and it's an opportunity for them as much as anything else.
Just lastly, we'll turn back to the Heineken Cup next week with Glasgow Warriors at home, and that's another big game in the Heineken Cup, but also hopes of perhaps qualifying for the Amlin Cup.
Yeah, well, we'll just get after it. I mean, it's like anything. All I've said to the players is, when we turn up on Tuesday, let's make sure mentally what we're talking about is the Glasgow game, and we're not going to get hung over about where we're going to go in the Premiership. The Premiership's going to be tight. I mean, we might have slipped to 8th, but what I would probably a win away from being back at 5th or 6th. That's the nature of the Premiership. What we have to do is just get our heads down and work hard. And as I say, enjoy what we're doing, and listen, geez, I'm sitting here and I'm not going to get dragged down into worrying too much about one result. One decision either way today, and we win it, and they lose it, and we'll be feeling pretty good about ourselves, having come through a battle, and they'll be feeling bad. That decision goes against us, and we feel pretty bad, and they're feeling great about themselves. That's how it is.
Well, Rob, thank you ever so much for joining.